Right, what's the date today? Hold on, let me have a look. Yes, Sunday, 20th of October, 2024. Funny, I've got the year wrong. 2024, we're in Southampton, and today, very kindly, at the residence of Riley, to talk about his memories of sound system, reggae sound system culture in Southampton, and more importantly, the sound system that was there before Maka Foundation and Ghetto High Power, and the sound system which influenced sounds like Maka and other sound systems. Sound was called His Majesties.
Yeah, that's correct.
So, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Do you want to, I call you Riley, but do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Riley. Some people call me Friar.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I sometimes call you Friar or sometimes call you Riley.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Brilliant. So yeah, we're going to talk about the sound system that you were involved with called His Majesties. So just before we talk about that, just a little bit about yourself. Were you born in Southampton, or when did you come to Southampton? When did your family arrive, and from where did your family arrive?
Oh, well, my parents come from St. Vincent.
Yeah.
And they came here, I think it was 1959, sorry.
59?
Yeah, 59.
Okay, yeah. From St. Vincent?
Yeah.
Okay, wicked. And when your family came to Southampton, Riley, which area did they first settle in?
The Derby Road area.
Derby Road area, okay. Otherwise known as Newtown.
Newtown, yeah.
Yeah, wicked. Okay, so obviously that's where the hub, if anyone doesn't know Southampton, the hub of the Caribbean community in the early days and even up to the 80s and 90s
yeah.
was the Derby Road area or the Newtown area. Basically, as someone growing up in Southampton, Riley, what are your, before His Majesty's sound system, which is a sound system you were involved in, what were your memories of the sound system scene in Southampton and the Derby Road area? I mean, what kind of a scene was there before His Majesties came around?
I think you should cut that there. I can't remember really. There was sounds there growing up, but I just...
Was it the older generation like Milton Geddes and Knight Rider?
I would say they were playing. I think that might give us some vibes from there. Inspiration from there.
Yeah. I mean, was it like a big? I heard there was a big blues scene in Southampton. So was it mainly a blues scene, or did you get to hear sound system elsewhere?
But I was young then, so by that time they were maybe 13, 14. So them blues scenes, I wouldn't have known nothing about that.
You wouldn't have gone to the blues scene. Okay. So how did you first start getting interested in sound system? What caught your interest?
I think it was going around the youth centre.
Youth centre?
Yeah, on Graham Road. Boys Club we used to
the Boys Club on Graham Road.
Yeah, so people was always around there.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the young men or somebody had a stereo playing music.
Yeah.
And from there you got the vibes on there, sort of.
Yeah. So, were there any sound systems that you remember in Southampton before His Majesties? Because His Majesties started around 75, I believe,
Yeah,
when you were 14.
Yeah, give and take. Yeah, 75, 76.
75, 76, yeah. So what kind of, did you hear other sounds coming from other towns to the Boys Club? Or what used to go on at the Boys Club, sound system wise?
Yeah, you'd have different young nippers there playing music. Or
local people?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you remember any of the names of the people that were playing music there?
Like I said, I remember, is it African Blood or something?
African Blood, yeah.
But they were some guys originated from Birmingham, I think.
Shirty and them, man.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So African Blood were around.
Yeah.
But maybe a bit before His Majesties.
Yeah, just, like I said, just growing up. I think they were around then.
Yeah. But they were like out of town and they used to play music at the Boys Club on Graham Road.
Yeah.
So is that what kind of got you interested in sound system?
Well, it's through the manager, I suppose, Vincent. He was into reggae music, him and his brother.
Yeah, so just to interject here, so Vincent Gentles and Earl Gentles were the two brothers, founder members of His Majesty's Sound.
Yeah.
And they were from a Jamaican family.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
So did you, I think when we informally chatted on the phone, you mentioned that they used to hold parties in Clovelly Road where Vincent lived, and you picked up a vibe from the parties. What kind of parties used to happen there? What kind of?
Well, it's just family parties.
Family parties,
you know. And by that time, Vincent had a little deck,
a
couple of speakers, and he used to just play some music, and I used to come around and watch him really play.
Was it the youth man that used to go around his yard and watch him play?
No, it's really, it's like I said, his parents might have some friends round.
Oh, like the parents. His parents played music as well.
And, you know, invite them around and we would play some music.
Okay. I know a favourite piece of equipment that a lot of West Indian families had was a blue spot drum.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and so they used to have like house parties at Vince's yard, run by his parents.
Yeah. As well. It wasn't no blues or nothing, it was just
like a family
maybe a birthday party or something like that. So.
But they played music there. And did Vincent's parents play music as well?
His father might play a couple of tunes, but I think he just let his son play the music.
His son used to play the music, okay.
And that's Vincent.
Yeah, and Vincent, was he a bit older than you?
No, I'm a year older than Vincent.
A year older than you.
Maybe a year.
So Vincent had this passion for music, and he used to play music when they were get-togethers at his yard.
Yeah.
And as well as that, in the early days, we're talking about, 74, 75, the Boys Club had people playing music there, African blood playing there.
Yeah.
So you picked up that kind of interest
into music, or Jamaican music, West Indian music, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And apart from the Boys Club, I know you were like 14 at the time, but where did the grown-ups used to go to hear sound system in those days? Did you hear of any places where they could go?
I think if the grown-ups were going out, most probably they used to go to the St. Luke's.
St. Luke's Hall?
Yeah, St. Luke's Church.
Oh, that's where the Sikh temple is now on top of Cranberry Avenue?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. So and that was the hall where they played music?
Yeah, the West Indian people would go and...
Because the West Indian Club only started in 76, so this was before the West Indian Club.
Yeah.
Okay, so St. Luke's Hall at the top of Cranberry Avenue.
Yeah, I think that's where the grown-ups went in that pub.
Yeah. I think when I spoke to Don Cooper, he mentioned as well that they used to have functions at St. Luke's. So St. Luke's was a big venue before the West Indian Club opened.
Yeah.
Okay. And obviously you were too young at the time, but there was a blues scene as well.
I should think so, but I wouldn't know nothing about that.
What about, I know the Northumberland pub and the Queensland Tavern were popular West Indian meeting places. Back in the mid-70s, 75, would the older generation used to go to those pubs? Were they the Northumberland and the Queensland?
I think so, and then maybe the Dorchester pub.
The Dorchester pub.
Onslow Road or somewhere like that. That's where you would find.
So you had the St. Luke's Community Hall, you had the Blues, you had the Boys Club, and you had the pubs. Those are the main meeting places.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So, I know we talked about this at length, but your sound, His Majesty's Sound, the sound that you joined, that was started by Vincent Gentles and his brother Earl Gentles. Started, I think everyone's saying, probably around 75, 1975, and you were around 14 that time.
Yeah, 14, 15, depends.
Okay, brilliant. And for people who are familiar with Southampton's longest running sound, Maka Foundation Sound started in 79. So you were around at least about 4 years before Maka Foundation.
Yeah.
So, obviously, His Majesties was a big inspiration to quite a few people. And you've mentioned that the sound, as well as the hub of the Afro Caribbean community back then, was the Derby Road area. When His Majesties started, how easy was it to get sounds? What sound system equipment did you start with?
Well, like I said, we just had a deck first.
A deck?
Well, Vincent had a deck.
Record deck.
A couple of little house speakers.
Yeah.
And then from there you just started to build.
Started to upgrade.
Well, within reason,
Yeah.
Within reason. Started to build his speakers. But his brother he was good with he was a handyman really, Earl. He was good with his hands, so
yeah.
Earl knew how to build speakers.
See. So Earl was the speaker maker.
Well, yeah, he built a speaker anyway.
Yeah. And so, I mean, where did they get the equipment? Where did they get the record decks and the speakers? Was any shops locally, or did you have to?
I mean, maybe, like I said, they had the deck before I met them, so they could have got maybe a second-hand shop or but when I met the two brothers, they had everything within reason. Yeah. Few records, and then we started to build our record collection up.
Yeah. And so when they upgraded, do you know, maybe you weren't involved in that side, but do you know where they got the equipment from, the speakers and stuff?
Like I said, generally it was just normal house speakers, and then from there they ordered speakers,
local.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go out of town or anything like that?
I think Vincent knew somebody, electronic guys then. Someone on there, and he got the connection that way.
See, because you've got amplifiers as well.
Yeah, they were valve
amps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those valve amps are those old style, original style amps with the bulbs that flash.
Yeah.
So, any idea where you got those valve amps from?
Like I said, honestly, they had most of it already. Maybe their father, his dad could have helped him.
Yeah. So it was a valve amp sound, which is the original sound.
Yeah.
Record deck, speakers.
Yeah,
Earl used to do the fixing as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's obviously what the equipment they had.
And then, like I said, we used to go around the boys' club, just practice around there.
Yeah.
And you had to order your records, so we used to order them from Greensleeve.
Yeah, because that was my next question actually. Kind of, in those days, there was no pirate radio.
Not really. If you could, you might have been able to get like London.
Radio London.
Yes. Radio London. I think you might have been able to get
if you had good equipment. Yeah, because you couldn't. I mean, you're in Southampton, right? There's no local pirate radio station. There's next to no reggae being played on the radio.
Yeah.
No reggae on TV. Those days there was no sound tapes, was there? Like the Saxon and Coxsone tapes in the 80s.
Not like then. Not like
so how does a young youth that is interested in reggae get to hear what the latest releases are?
I think it was a Black Echo.
Black Echo magazine.
Yeah, and you had like the top 10 or top 20.
Yes.
And Dillinger, Tapazuki,
Used to hear of those names.
And
yeah, because the Black Echoes used to have a chart, a 7-inch reggae chart, top 10, 12-inch record top 10. So you used to see the names of the tracks on the magazine.
Yeah.
But you never knew how it sounded like.
Not really.
I mean, a sound could, but you'd know the names of the local, the latest singers.
Yeah.
And what their tracks were.
But somehow, I can't remember, there was a radio station where you managed to listen to a bit of reggae.
Okay.
So that would have given us inspiration as well.
In the 70s even?
Late 70s, I swear.
And was that so? You could pick up Radio London just faintly.
Faintly.
Okay, and they had a reggae show, did they?
You know, sorry to keep cutting, but there was somehow we was, you know, getting to learn reggae music somewhere.
Yeah. So Radio London. Also, Maka Sound was saying that a Radio 1 DJ called John Peel. Used to play a lot of punk and alternative tracks, but every night he played about 5 or 6 reggae.
And you don't know when he's going to play it. You know, so
So you got to listen to all that punk rock.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Yeah.
Before he plays the reggae.
Yeah, reggae tune. Yeah.
Okay, so you had Radio 1, a few tracks there in the 70s, and Radio London as well.
Yeah.
And then you got Black Echoes with the list of.
Yeah.
But you don't know what it sounds like.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
And then obviously, I mean, do you remember any? I know African Roots was based in Southampton, and so when you got to hear them play at the Boys Club or wherever, you got to hear some of the tunes.
Yeah, there was so many different guys then playing music, really.
DJs
we would say back in them, because we all used to line around the Boys Club, so everybody was into music in a certain way.
So you had DJs who had their own collection of music?
Music, yeah.
And they used to play at the Boys Club?
I think there was a deck at the Boys Club, I think so, but I know we used to go around there and play as well.
Yeah, on Graham Road.
Graham Road.
Okay. So, you get to hear music there. You had individuals who had their musical collections.
Yeah.
Do you remember any big sounds from outside of Southampton playing in Southampton, Reading, Bristol or London in the mid-70s? Did that ever happen in the mid-70s? Before the West Indian Club even started?
Not when maybe up there at St. Luke's Hall, but I wouldn't.
You wouldn't have been aware of that at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how you got to hear the latest releases. So when obviously you touched on the ordering of the music when you joined the Sound. How was Vince, Earl, yourself, and whoever? Sorry, I didn't get the member. We've got to pay homage to the members of the His Majesty's Sound. So shall we list them? Obviously, there was yourself,
Vincent,
and Earl,
and Versal, which we know.
Versal, Scratch.
Yeah.
Okay, so Versal, Gordon, Scratch.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was the 4 of you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And that was the founder members of His Majesty.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've obviously got the crew there. I don't want anyone looking at the video saying, "Oh, you didn't mention that."
Hopefully you would find them and they can say their piece anyway.
Yeah. No problem. But I've got to give thanks to you, Riley, because Scratch wasn't available to talk about His Majesty's sound system. Earl wasn't available, and nor was Vince. So if you weren't available, there'd be no history told about His Majesty's sound system. So I've got to give you big respect for, coming on camera and representing for His Majesty's sound and giving some of the history. So the 4 of you are in the Sound, and you get to hear some of the music. Where did you buy your music back in the day, your reggae music in the mid-70s, 75, 76, when you were starting out with His Majesty?
Like I said, there was a shop in St. Mary's. I think it was
Henry's.
Or there was a Virgin Records. They just opened up a Virgin Records shop up in town.
Yeah.
So now and again the reggae started to come in there as well a little bit. And like I said, with Virgin, a lot of that green sleeve labelled music would have been coming down to a Virgin.
Yeah.
So you could have got their music.
Okay, so they had a little reggae section.
Yeah,
there.
just a little bit.
Okay.
But like I said, we used to order our records from green sleeve. And then Vincent managed to get himself a little job.
Yeah.
And like I said, I started to get myself a little, not much, but it's a little job.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the month, we used to go to London, to green sleeve.
Yeah.
And then buy the music properly there.
Because at this time, you're about 14, 15.
15, yeah.
Vince is a year older than you?
Younger.
He's younger than you?
Yeah.
So Vince is 14?
Yeah, he would have been 14. So I would have been 15.
And Vince would have been 14. Earl, how old would he be?
He might have been just the same, maybe a bit younger than him.
13.
Yeah.
And Scratch, how old was he at this time?
He would have been the same age as Vincent, I would say.
So you're aged between 13 and 15,
yeah,
and you started a reggae sound system.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's, well, like I said, it's through Vincent and his brother, really. You know.
So you're obviously getting bits and pieces from the money you're making from the odd job. You can't work full time, you're too young for that. Yeah. And so who had the link? Anyone who doesn't know who Greensleeves is, they're a big reggae record label based in London and a main source for a lot of music, for a lot of sound. So who had the link for Greensleeves when you used to order from Greensleeves Records? Vincent had the link.
Yeah.
Okay. So what, did they used to mail order it? How did he get it?
Yeah, he mail order it.
Okay, so send them a check or something?
Check, yeah, postal order. You write out the money, send it to them, and they send it back.
They post it to him. So how, without being able to hear the music, how would he know what to order? How did you guys decide?
Well, like I said, some of the tunes you would have seen from the Echo.
Oh, the Echoes.
And you take a shot.
It was a risk.
Yeah. And plus, Vince had his favourite artists. So, like I said, Kapazuki and, Dillinger, like I said earlier. Certain artists, we just buy the tunes, Big Youth or whatever, we just buy the tunes and hopefully they're alright.
Yeah, okay. So, a lot of mail order. And this shop, Henry's, it wasn't a black-owned shop?
No.
It was just a guy that was into various kinds of music. How much reggae did they have in Henry's?
Not a lot, really.
More than Virgin?
Less than Virgin.
Less than Virgin?
No. Okay. No, should I say? No. I think maybe the same.
Well, you used to have a few.
But they would. I think they might have got the more latest
7 inches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within reason.
Alright. So Henry's was a source for some music in St Mary Street.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, Henry's record, and you had Virgin, and then obviously ordering from Greensleeves and taking a gamble. And
Indian Black Wax at Birmingham. I think there's a
Black Wax record shop in Handsworth in Birmingham. Yeah. So did you guys used to make a trip there?
For a while, first we used to go to London, and then a couple of times we did go to Birmingham and buy tunes there from there.
And how did you guys get to London then?
Train.
Okay.
I mean, roughly, I don't know how much that would have been back in them days, but it would have been under a tenner, I think.
Yeah.
To get to London.
Okay. And while you're in London, which areas did you used to go to then?
Just straight to Shepherd's Bush.
Shepherd's Bush.
That's where Greensleeve was.
Okay, yeah.
You come out the tube station, I think it wasn't very far from there.
Okay. And what, did they have a shop there or?
Greensleeve.
Yeah.
It's a record shop.
There was a record shop there?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you got to hear the music there?
And then you can hear it live.
Okay, and then you choose one. Okay. So it was just a quick trip to Shepherd's Bush. And what about Black Wax Records in Birmingham, in Handsworth, Birmingham? What made you go there instead of London? Was there something different about Black Wax or Birmingham? Or
maybe because we heard of a sound, like I said, them times you was listening to sounds or heard about sound.
Yeah.
And like I said, for London it might have been Coxsone or Fatman and that.
Yeah.
But then from Birmingham, I think it was Quaker City, I think.
Yeah.
Might have been one of the big sounds there. Different kind of style of music as well.
More Rasta oriented.
Yeah, or different kind of beats. So we just took a chance up there as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, cool. So who had the link for Black Wax and Greensleeves again? Was it Vince?
Vincent, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, wicked. So Vince made the links with do you want to say hello?
Not really, no.
Sorry. Okay,
this is Riley.
Yeah. We got a visitor. Big respect, Wayne Smiley. Yeah. Okay. So basically, you've got a Vincent has made the link with Greensleeves and Black Wax.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's where you would go to London, and that's where you would go to Birmingham. Birmingham again used to go by train.
Yeah, once again, train.
Yeah, so Black Wax Records, a very famous reggae record shop in in Birmingham. So that's that. So that's how you got your music.
Yeah.
But you know, kind of everyone, and obviously the venues, we touched upon what venues there were. So what venues did His Majesty first start playing? I mean, I know Vincent played in his yard.
Technically, it would just been around the boys' club.
Boys' club,
yes.
Okay.
And maybe a Friday night, you know, you can string up your little set and you can play your music.
Play music, and it was a pop. All the youngsters.
Yeah, everybody just gathered there.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. And that's that. And when you started His Majesties, now every sound has a style. You know, the way the man speaks on the mic, the way you play the music. You know, there's a style. Every sound has its style. Like you said, you know, Moambasa, Quaker City.
Yeah.
No sound ever sounded exactly the same. How did you guys, you know, the style, the lingua, the chatting, and your style of play, where did you pick that up from?
Technically, it could have been off the record, or if you hear another sound, you're just picking up little lyrics really, and you just chatting really. Or you might listen to a Prince Friar tune, and you just get some form of lyrics off of him. And you just battle for that really.
Wicked. Did you in those days have the rewind and come again, or was it just a one drop?
It was just a one. You just had the one deck, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Wicked. And I'm going to touch up upon probably the biggest dance that His Majesty's played back in '81. But before I do that, dub plates. Now, there'll be a lot of people here who are new to reggae and they won't know what a dub plate is. Dub plate is a customized record. Nowadays, the records, and from the 80s onwards, had the sound system's name, the artist saying the sound system's name on the record. Back in the mid 70s, a dub plate, you could not buy that from a record shop. It had to be got exclusively. So do you want to explain kind of roughly what your understanding of a dub plate was?
A dub plate was just a special, but it was really heavy. It was, and you just had to get someone to make it for you. So
it was costly as well.
And back in them days, it was a bit costly, but I wouldn't know how much it was. Maybe £20, £50. I don't. Back in them days,
which is a lot considering a record was about £2 or something.
Yeah.
So,
and once again, Vince had the link.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm rightly wrong, I think he had a link with David Rodigan back in them days or something like that.
Right.
He just asked him to make a dub plate for him.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was just a normal record, but them time you could rewind the music and it sounded in the
So it's a customised record, exclusive record.
Just say it was a Dennis Brown
Yeah.
tune, but you just had Dennis Brown, but the way it was made and
it had extra effects in it. So it was one of those special records that normal reggae record buying public could not get from a high street shop. It was only through special contacts you could get that record, and it was very costly. But it was basically done by Sounds, collected these to show that they had exclusive music. Otherwise, if everyone went to the same record shop, there'd be no difference between the sound. So this was exclusive music to say, look, I've got these connections. This has cost 10 times more than a normal record, but this is kind of our signature customized record.
I think it was, like I said, I think it's some of David Rodigan. So
David Rodigan, who does not know David Rodigan, well, most people would know David Rodigan, probably the most well-known reggae DJ in the UK.
And that might have been through a phone or just writing to him, and he just done us that favour.
And Vince had that connection with David Rodigan. Wow. Well, that's interesting. So how many do you know?
I think we only had two.
Two dub plates. Do you remember what artists they were?
Once again, I don't know. It was
Prince Friar.
Prince Friar. But the way it was made, it was
It had extra effects in it, bass and
it's like a rewind,
Okay, wicked. So you had every sound has at least one dub plate. So you had your dub plates. Okay, wicked. And I know this competitors may be a strong word, but were there any local rivals in Southampton that you played with, or was nothing any competition, friendly competition?
And it wasn't competition. It was just, you would say, juggling against each other. Really, it
playing with each other in the same dance.
Yeah, or in the boys' club, really. But most of the things went on in the boys' club.
Yeah,
to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But like I said, it would just be juggling against each other.
So who did you play against? African blood?
I think they were there one time. Like I said, I swear Lord Shelley was there one time.
Oh, Greg Richards. Yeah.
A couple of
local
Just Water. There's local guys just doing their little thing. Ian Martin, I think Ian Martin, you know why Martin? Yeah. He had a little. He used to play music as well, I think. You know what I mean? So it's just different guys used to play their music.
But the biggest dance that His Majesties played was against the most famous sound at that time in the UK, which was the mighty Sir Coxsone sound from Brixton, London.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
A very big dance for any sound at that time, and I believe that was around 1981.
Yeah.
How did that dance get arranged then? How did that happen? Because that was in Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth Town Hall?
Yeah.
Which Bournemouth's only half an hour away from Southampton on the south coast. Yeah.
But I think Coxsone was down here a week or a couple of weeks before the dance in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And like I said, this guy called Martin,
a local guy who was into reggae.
Yeah. He had his links with Coxsone.
Right.
And he just got us a dance there. He said we can play alongside Coxsone.
Yeah.
But and that's how it happened, really.
Okay. So he arranged that dance, and so he knew obviously that Coxsone were in town, and he had to choose a local sound from the south coast. I mean, there was no sound in Portsmouth or Bournemouth, so the nearest black community was Southampton.
Yeah, maybe that's maybe that time.
And at that time, it was His Majesties that was chosen.
Coming up.
Yeah. And I understand that the Maka crew joined as well.
Yeah.
So it was Maka and His Majesties that were at that dance. And you mentioned also that the equipment was supplied by Maka on that night. The speaker boxes.
Speakers, we needed speakers because the place where we was going, the hall was quite big.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we only had a couple of bass boxes.
Yeah.
Like I said, once again, Maka's sound was building up.
We're building up, And by 81, they'd been around for at least a couple of years. So they had the equipment. And here's a little picture of the van. Sadly, there's not many pictures of His Majesty's sound. But here's a picture of the van on the night of the Coxsone dance in 1981 in Bournemouth. And the guys are just unloading the van. The picture's got obviously a few of them, His Majesty's crew and the Maka crew joined up together, and you're unloading the speaker boxes from the back of the van. So that's the picture that just showing on the cap now on the screen. So that was arranged by Martin. It was Maka and His Majesty's. Maka supplied most of the speaker boxes and the equipment. And who was selecting on the night for that? Was it?
Well, like I say, it was a joint thing, but I know we was playing as well.
Yeah.
We had a chance to just start playing. We was testing out the tops. Everything was sounded all right. I think we had a problem with the bass. Because, like I say, we weren't used to this hall so big, and we had to spread out the speakers. What we had, we spread them out. If I'm right, I think we had problems with the bass. get that thing.
Yeah.
I think our tops were nice.
And I think Briggy and Wayne Smiley were saying that Coxsone were just trying to, cut you guys out.
Yeah, I mean they bullied us really.
Bullying the smaller sound.
Yeah, they bullied us. And, it's an experience. At least we had that experience to see what happened.
Yeah. What kind of not dirty tricks? What kind of things were they doing on that night, Coxsone? To kind of ease, to overpower you.
They just waited us out and didn't just give us a chance to play. I don't think, After they set up and they found out, they wanted to test their set, which we allowed them to test their set.
Yeah.
But I think after that, once they knew how our set didn't sound right and all that, they just bullied us, really, I think.
Because their set was more powerful.
Yeah.
So every sound has their segment where the other sound shuts up and lets the other sound play. So when His Majesties and Maka were playing your set, were they interfering in your set and your time?
Not really. They let us play for a bit.
Yeah.
So we were playing some 45s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we carried on playing for a little while.
Yeah.
And then it was their turn, and then they just wanted to play near enough the whole dance after that. So.
Okay. So basically, they just wanted to have more time than His Majesty.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was your experience of playing against the big sound.
Yeah.
Big league.
And on the night, who was selecting? I know Smiley was selecting with Maka.
Vincent was selecting.
Yeah. Okay. And so you. Obviously, that was 1981. Was it at Bournemouth Town Hall?
Yeah.
Okay, Bournemouth Town Hall. And a lot of memories on playing against the top sound at that time in the UK. I can't kind of like express that any more than I have. It's like, you're from a smaller sound, and it's just like putting you in the lion's den.
Yeah.
So. It's a very big dance. And did a lot of people from Southampton reach that dance, or was it just the sound man?
Yeah.
A lot of local Southampton supporters came.
I think everyone who could get up.
They all drove down, or did they catch a train, or was there a coach laid up for the Southampton people?
I think they drove down.
Okay.
You'd have maybe one driver,
and
then the car would be packed full of people, and then that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Just to get
so a lot of Southampton people were at that dance. Oh, brilliant! There's a lot of Coxsone bring a lot of London man down to that dance.
I mean, there's people there as well, because you don't know, there's people from Bournemouth came in there. I mean, it was plus then I think on that night there was a band as well, so it was a joint thing going on, plus 2 sound systems in there.
Yeah. Okay, wicked. And I hear there's a flyer for that dance as well, which I'm trying to get off Briggy. So and I've heard also that there's two people have got the tape for that night because it was recorded. I think Briggy mentioned in the Maka interview that he's got a copy somewhere. But also Valerie, who I understand was involved to some extent, Valerie Street, with the sound. She has a copy, and I think at present she's looking for her copy. So I'm hoping when this video goes live online, while we're getting together all the flyers, all the photographs, etc., that we can get that audio and maybe add it to the end of this video. If not, we can release it later. So that's all good. So yeah, Valerie, what was her part in the sound?
I think she was partner to Vincent.
She was Vincent's partner. Yeah. Okay. And what was her input in the sound system? Valerie Street's input.
Maybe she might have helped. I don't know. Maybe a bit with the music and ordering music or something like that.
Yeah. But she was very knowledgeable about reggae.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Brilliant. So that's that. Before the Coxsone dance happened, how did you prepare for that? You must have known in advance, or did you just know days in advance, or was it weeks in advance, or?
I think it might have been weeks in advance.
Okay.
You know, so I think we needed more speakers. So, like I said, I know once again the Maka crew.
So
they knew how to build speakers. I know we built our speakers, but they had more speakers.
They had more speakers.
So whatever speakers we had, if we needed a couple more, I think they built a couple more.
Okay.
And it's just.
So you got to get. So you made preparations for the equipment, and what about the music? Did you have to make special trips for that big dance?
Well, I think between both of them, most people would have bought their bought different music.
Because Maka had this.
Because we had music anyway.
You had music
so
anyway.
We knew Majesty got music because I used to obviously go up to Vince's house.
Yeah.
So I knew between both of us we could play for quite a while.
Yeah.
So
So it was a joint defence of Southampton, Maka and His Majesties against the big sound defending the South Coast against Coxsone, the top sound in the country at that time. So so preparations for the music, and obviously the dance happened on the night, and obviously we've gone through where you got your music. So that was that. And basically, obviously, your sound, His Majesties, was around for a good few years, because you started, as we said, around 75. But you were around, I think some people say, because the Coxsone dance was in 81.
Yeah.
So a few people have said they remember His Majesty's sound being around until about 82. 82?
Oh, just said that. I said after the dance, I think things just went certain ways, and but we were still playing, but it wasn't the same or something like that.
Okay.
But I mean, during them years, we just played at the boys' club, played a couple of, like I said, house parties. We was playing Basil a couple of times. I think down the Golden Nugget, there was a place down St Mary's. Yeah. I think we played down there. Okay.
So you did play for a little while after the Coxsone dance.
I mean, you got to remember, we couldn't drive, we were still young, so what speakers we had to either know somebody who had a van or try and move them yourself, because none of us could drive.
Guys, just now we've just got a visitor as well who's come over to visit us, and that's Smiley from Maka Foundation Sound. Thank you for coming over, man. This is a bit unexpected, but it's a pleasure, because obviously you've got a lot of memories of His Majesty's sound system as well before you started Maka. So thank you for coming down today, Smiley. So thanks very much. People are aware who've seen the Maka Foundation interview that Smiley started Maka Foundation, the longest running and still in existence reggae sound system in the South Coast. Started in 79 and you're still playing today.
That's right.
But more importantly as well, for this interview, you were influenced by His Majesty's sound system as a youth before you started Maka.
That's right.
So what do you remember about His Majesty's sound system, Smiley?
Basically, I mean, I was just a youngster, so we used to just basically go up to Vince's house. We used to listen to
Clovelly Road.
In Clovelly Road, listen to what music he was playing. Really intrigued. Dub music and sort of early sort of music was coming out then.
This is around what, 75?
Yeah. But when I started going up, I'd say it was around about 77, 78 for me. Okay. And just listening to music that he had. And then, I mean, obviously from then I already decided that I wanted to make up a sound system. And he had a really, really nice sound at the time. Okay.
So you really must have been about 12, 13.
Yeah.
Okay. And 77, 78. I mean, His Majesties must have been around for a good 2-3 years.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, they were playing well before.
Okay, so you obviously were following and listening to His Majesties. Okay, and you knew Earl and Vince, and used to go around to their yard.
Yeah.
Where did you first hear His Majesties out and about?
The same as what Riley basically said, though. We used to go around the boys' club, because the boys' club was like a focal point. So you had Ebony Rockers were practicing there, and you had a lot of the other sound systems would string up and play there, mostly on a Friday, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
And then that would go on until maybe 11 o'clock, something like that.
Okay, okay. So that's how you first heard of His Majesties. So they obviously, that's where you heard them, and obviously you used to know Vince and used to go around to his yard and you could hear the music that they played, etc. Obviously you're all based in the Derby Road area. What are your memories of the equipment that His Majesties had at that time? Sound system equipment.
They had a really good top end. Their top end was really, really good. Bass-wise, I wasn't really sure. I can't really remember. Yeah. But I know the top end was absolutely sweet. Okay. And a good mid-range end as well. Okay. So when you're playing, especially with dub, because sometimes there's not a lot of vocal in it. Yeah. Yeah. So you're relying on the bass itself. And with that they had really, really sweet top end. Okay, that's brilliant.
Did you know, as someone who's interested, where Vince got his equipment from? Did you ever ask him?
No, I didn't ever ask him. But it might have been through the same ways that we sort of had. You sort of know somebody who's got some tweeters. Yeah. So maybe you trade and you buy. You see somewhere. Yeah. It could be the case that you're at some sort of hall or something, and there's somebody maybe just lying about or something. Okay. And you think, okay, well, they look good for the. Because you know what you need for the sound system itself. You need the tops, mids, and the bass. Yeah. So you just try and you work with it to get it to get that. Yeah. And obviously Riley mentioned how you couldn't hear much music, and we've talked about this in the Maka interview. You know, whether it's John Peel or Radio London. Yeah. And obviously Riley's mentioned that Greensleeve. I mean. Vince had some links with Greensleeves, and he used to go to Black Wax as well in Birmingham, and he used to know Rodigan. He used to know Rodigan as well.
I mean, not personally, but it's just.
So you had to maintain the contact with him.
Phone, and I know it was through him. That's how we got our first dub playing. Yeah.
So, as a fan of His Majesties before your own sound, as a young sound system, obviously enthusiast. What music do you remember that His Majesty's sound had? What was your favourite kind of music?
Like I said, there was a lot of Prince Friar stuff. There was Errol Scorcher, Frog in the Water. You had Joe Thomas maybe around them times. Yeah. It was all the early singers. Just trying to think of the names now. Badu. You had all sorts of artists like that who were just sort of doing it. But like I said, a lot of the times a lot of it was just dub. You know what I mean? Yeah. So then it started progressing into a lot of singers coming on the scene and stuff like that. Yeah.
So were they essentially a Rasta type sound at that time, cultural sound, would you say? Because His Majesties is quite a cultural name for us.
I mean,
at that time maybe not so much. No. I think after that, then because especially with Rastafarianism, I think most sounds started having people on their sound who would locks up and stuff like that. But most of the time, it was just the music. If you had the right music, then that's all that mattered. That's what people really wanted to hear. Yeah.
So Riley, with His Majesties, who was Vince the selector?
Yeah,
he was a selector. Yeah. And what was Earl's role? You mentioned he was a handyman as well.
Yeah, I mean, whatever box, and really we just stayed around. Like I said, I tried a little bit of the DJing work.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Who was like the main MC, the micman?
Me, within reason. Sometimes Baby, we called him Vincent Babyface. He used to do a bit of mic as well. Yeah. So between the two of us, say try a thing, you know.
Yeah. So Earl was mainly the technician.
Yeah.
And what was Scratch's role in the sound?
He's more. He come on the scene now. He's more like he know what he's doing with the electronic side of the wiring and all that a little bit better. You know, and like I said, back in them days, it wasn't no plugs. You just put some tape around the wires.
So Scratch and Earl were more your technicians. And you were the mic man as well as Earl, as well as Vince. But Vince was the selector.
He was the boss. That was me.
So Smiley, what was it like? What was the style of His Majesties? What did you like about how they played? I know you talked about the equipment, but what was their style like when they used to play?
It was just very similar to what you was hearing maybe from a yard tape from coming from Jamaica. You know what I mean? So they had that vibe about them. And like I said, that's what really pushed me to then try and make my own set. Because I think they entertained very well as well. They knew what they definitely knew what they were doing, and in the fact of like running the sound system itself.
So they were full of vibes.
And people, anyway, because a lot of people would come around and listen to Majesty anyway. So
Okay. So and obviously, as someone who's interested in sound, I suppose you get hear a lot of the latest releases through listening to His Majesties. But
also, I'm a person. I kind of back then I was listening to a lot of stuff. As soon as you get maybe a radio station that's playing reggae, or because reggae started coming in a bit more than the dub. Then you kind of and I'll write that tune down, and then there was a shop up in London, Daddy Cool's.
So
and that's right. And they used to do a lot of so you basically know what song you wanted, and then you postal. Back then it was postal orders, and then send them off, and then hopefully in about a week's time you got your tune through. You know what I mean? Because we were too young to sort of drive to go up to London then. You know what I mean? So
So at the time His Majesties was playing, you had other sounds like Shirty's sound, African Blood. And I think Greg Richards had a sound, Lord Shelley, but they weren't as long lasting as His Majesty. Well, African Blood were around, weren't they? But how long were they around for?
I really don't know.
I mean, like I said, it was that phase for a little while. What I mean? It was a phase.
I knew that because I've seen them a couple of times. I saw them playing a couple of times. And they sounded okay. But like I said, my more recollection is with Majesty, because we
grew up around the area.
And African Blood were that little bit much older. So I mean, as a youth man, then I'm kind of really linking with Vince, really.
Cool. And kind of, people are talking about how long His Majesty's lasted. I think Riley, you were saying. You lasted for a bit after 81, after the Coxsone dance. What are your recollections of how long His Majesties were around?
Well, we played Majesty down at the Golden Nuggets, and I'm trying to think what year that was. It might have been after the Coxsone dance. And then after that,
just quiet down. That was it.
So Maka and Majesty did play together. It wasn't a clash.
No, it was just juggling music.
Okay.
Just juggling music.
Okay. Brilliant. So things came to an end then after 81. Then I think Andre, a good friend, mentioned that he remembers possibly 82 as an end date for His Majesties.
I would say I know it wasn't long. After that Coxsone dance.
Okay. So things happen, sometimes, and people go their separate ways. So what happened to the equipment, sound system equipment of His Majesties?
Well, whatever Vince had done with his speakers and records, whatever. But like I said, it was his equipment to a certain extent.
Because I was speaking to Valerie Street, who I kept in contact with, and she mentioned that she's got the majority of the music from His Majesties. And I think she actually bought the music when the sound ended. She's telling me she spent £900 buying all the music of His Majesties off Vincent. And £900 in the early 80s was a lot of money. And I think she mentioned she still got the trunk,
that's good,
which you need 2 people to carry, and a lot of the records. Some of the dub plates though got lost. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, okay, but they got lost. And the turntables and the equipment, do you have any idea?
No.
Okay, alright.
Unless you sold to another sound or sound building up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping we'll get in contact with Vincent Gentles and Earl Gentles, the 2 brothers, and make this a work in progress about the history of His Majesty's sound system, so that obviously we can add bits together from people who participated in the sound. This can be maybe a part 1, and maybe we can have a part 2. I've still got to do a part 2 of Maka Foundation Sound as well, years after the event. But it's very important for us to get the history of His Majesty's sound, because even though you're with Maka Sound, Smiley, you've acknowledged that they were a big influence.
Yeah, without any doubt. Like I said, just hearing the music. As soon as I'd leave Vince's house, I'm planning my next, what amp I'm going to get, and what top end and stuff like that, because like I said, the clarity on this set was unbelievable. And every set's got its plus and minuses, so you might have a big sound that, I don't know, maybe say Coxsone who's heavy, but their top end is not very good. And then you hear like Unity or something, or Young Lion, that possibly would have the whole works, you know what I mean? It's how it works sometimes.
So they were crisp sounding sounds, His Majesty's. Okay, and they had their music as well. Okay, that's good. So I mean, I think we've touched upon as much as we can for now about His Majesties, and I can't stress enough how important it was for Riley, one of the members of His Majesties, to represent and talk about the sound. We're still collecting bits and pieces together, and like I said, if Briggy, no pressure Briggy, Smiley, if we find that tape of His Majesties and Maka playing against Coxsone, then I would love to be able to digitalise that and clean it up, and we can put it up, and maybe as an accompaniment to the end of this video, if we get it in time. I know TC's on Briggy's case. Briggy's just come back, so he's around town, But if not, Valerie as well, who I'm in contact with, she's trying to look for the tape as well, so hopefully between the 2 of them they'll have the tape, and hopefully I think Briggy's got a copy of the flyer, and we should be able to see the flyer as well.
That'd be nice.
But gentlemen, did you want to add anything else about this history of His Majesty's sound?
It's sorry.
No, I was just saying, I'm just glad that you could just refresh my mind a little bit. So that's good for me, really. Thank you.
For me, it's always like I love talking about the fact that I got to listen to Majesty first, and then start something, because they're the one that's really pushed me to then.
So they were your inspiration?
Yeah, without any doubt.
Yeah. So without them, there might have been no Maka Foundation.
And there's other inspirations. I mean, obviously, like I said, I listen to African Blood. But because you're so close to another sound system, like Vince, you pick up a lot more. He's teaching me this.
So he was teaching, Vincent Gentles
when I say teaching, like basically saying, you really need a good top end to. When you're playing out, so that people can hear the music. If it's all muffled, then it ain't no good, you know what I mean? So that's basically it, really.
And do you have any, Riley, do you have any funny stories or memories of any particular times with His Majesties that you can share with us?
Well, like I said, the only thing I could say, I know we used to practice at Vincent's house. His mum and dad would have gone to work.
Okay.
And we'll take a batch of music, half each, and it'd be me and his brother versus Vincent. But you know, he always had all the best tunes anyway. So
you had a little competition,
we used to have a little competition before his dad comes back. His mum and dad come. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I could say.
Okay, so you used to practice while the mum and Vincent's mum and dad were at work. Okay, yeah, that's great. And Smiley, do you have any interesting stories about your association with His Majesty's Sound?
Not really. It was just that I know every now and again I'd go up to the house, and if his mum and dad did come back, then you know, with West Indian parents, they're really strict.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of hollering and shouting. You know what I mean? Turn that music down. Why are you playing it so loud and stuff like that? Yeah. But that happened to all of us, really. So that's about it, really.
Yeah. So big memories at Clovelly Road.
Yeah.
And what is it about Clovelly Road? His Majesties came from Clovelly Road. Maka Foundation, Clovelly Road.
That's right.
Milton Geddes, Clovelly Road, a guy used to play music.
Well, like I said,
I'm sure there's one other person from Clovelly Road. Clovelly Road is like the sound system capital of Southampton.
I mean, Mikey Forrester used to live down
the bottom. Yeah. Mikey Forrester used to probably live down. I think he DJ'd.
I think so.
For a little while, and he lived at the bottom of Clovelly Road. So.
That was a more Jamaican family in that road there. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's all different Caribbean people living around the area, but you had certain portions of the road where...
So Clovelly Road, I mean, there was obviously Caribbean families all around the Derby Road area, Northumberland, Derby, Argyle Road,
everywhere.
Alfred Street, Cranberry, but Clovelly Road had a particular concentration of Jamaican families.
I would say to a certain extent.
And then, I mean, you had, was it Basil? You had this place on your road, on Ox Avenue.
Yeah.
So, but they're dotted out all over the place. So, but it's all within walking distance. So
it's all in the area.
It's all in the area.
Newtown. Some people call it Derby Road area. Some people used to call it Jungle in the 90s.
Front line.
It's that area, between Mount Pleasant Road and the dual carriageway and the railway station behind, and St Mary's Road with all the shops. So it's that small area of 4,000 to 5,000 people, which has so much history, so much diversity, and what made Southampton spicy and interesting, and influenced far beyond its numbers the rest of the county. I mean, you must have seen the BBC South TV report I did about sound systems in Reading, and the journalist on that, Simon Marks, lives in Salisbury. He used to come from Salisbury on a Saturday to the West Indian Club in Southampton. So the small Afro Caribbean community in Southampton influenced the whole, Dorset, Hampshire, the Portsmouth side as well. It was a very well-known community that had its influences far extended between, over and above its physical numbers, if you'd like, So, we're going to come to the end now, and I just wanted to say thank you, Riley, for your time and for us to come to your home. Wayne, Smiley,
pleasure.
Thank you for coming out of your way and reaching down, and for your input as well. As someone who was a follower of His Majesty's and a fan before Maka started, and I just wanted to say thank you very much. And this is work in progress. So if Vincent Gentles and Earl Gentles ever get to watch this, Scratch, Valerie Street, or anyone else with memories of His Majesty's want to do a part 2, then let's get this history documented and everything preserved. But otherwise, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.